What's up guys, this is Blash from Racing Brick. I've been silent in the past 2 weeks as there were a lot of things going on. This whole COVID-19 situation affected us as well. As I mentioned previously, we started the process of moving out from our flat and we also started the renovation here, but due to the current circumstances, this whole thing is now on hold. Most of our stuff is packed in boxes, ready to move. A lot of things are in a warehouse, so it's a bit chaotic nowadays. Unfortunately, I don't think there will be quick positive changes, so I try to set up a little area for my Lego stuff where I can continue to work and create content for you. Sorry for the mess and sorry for the terrible echo. It is still very much work in progress currently. Luckily, I have the most important stuff around and I will try to be creative with the rest. Once I finish it, I will give you a room tour if you are interested. The main reason of my video today is the latest update of the Powered Up app. Version 3.1 arrived with some very exciting promises. Let's see what's the official information. The most revolutionary one seems to be the support of power functions hardware. As they say, it is a bit techy. You will see later what this means. There's also support for the Powered Up remote, which is a very requested feature. The rest is about some blocks and some bug fixes. So it sounds like a pretty big deal. The Powered Up app seems to be suddenly compatible with power functions. Wow, that's the best news ever for the system, isn't it? So are we happy, Vincent? Well, give me a minute and I will show you how it works and then you can decide. What we will need for this demonstration is the color and distance sensor coming in the boost set, but also available to be purchased separately. The number is 88007, you can check it here. You will also need the power functions infrared receiver, battery box and motors for the test. Since there's no magical adapter appearing, what can be the trick? The Powered Up color and distance sensor has a special IRTX mode. That means it can be used to transmit infrared signals to the receiver and send commands to control the power functions motors. This sounds very promising, but as always, there's a catch. Here's the block to set the mode of the sensor. You need to set it to 7 to access this functionality. This is the other block that we will use, and this is where it becomes complicated. I mean, really complicated. There are no simple commands that you can use, no port or channel selection, no forward, backward stop or set speed commands, nothing. There's a port selector to define where did you connect the sensor, and then there are 3 numeric fields with hexadecimal values. How does it work? Well, for this you need to find the LEGO Power Functions RC documentation published like a decade ago that describes how the LEGO infrared protocol works on a very low and techy level. After studying carefully the document, you can get some idea about the commands and you can start to send commands. I have to tell you that I only had a quick look and I'm not totally familiar with the protocol, so I will only show you some basic examples now. I will explore the possibilities further, but that definitely requires more time. So the first block sets the IR channel used. From 0 to 3 you will have channel 1, 2, 3 or 4. The second block defines a lot of stuff, but the most simple way to use it is to select 4 for the control of the red port and 5 for the control of the blue port. This is single output mode with pulse width modulation speed control, selecting output A or B. With the third block here you can set the speed. 0 is float, which means no speed. Then from 1 to 7 you increase the speed forward. 8 is brake. Then from 9 to F, remember this is hexadecimal, you have the speed decreasing but backwards. There are other modes as well, like the combo direct mode driving both channels. For example, 015 will drive both outputs forwards, 010 stops them, so there are a lot of other things to explore. Okay, so these are the basic commands in the code. Is there any way to use it to control something? Sure, but as always it requires coding and lots of coding. Since we are still stuck with the 2 controller interfaces, I tried to create something simple with them. Here's a basic setup that uses the slider's input to drive the 2 motors attached to the infrared receiver. As you can see, the motor speed is all around the place. The reason is simple. The values expected to control the motors should be between 0 and 15 in hex, and the sliders are pushing values between -100 and +100. To have this corrected, you either need some advanced mathematical trickery, which I will skip now as it is 1 AM again, or you can try to assign the different values of the sliders to different speeds, and this means the code grows big very fast. The result is sort of working, by the way, but it is very far from being simple. By the way, despite the hints in the update announcement, I found zero information about this functionality on LEGO's website. Hope to see this coming somewhere in the future. So let's see the other big feature, the ability to use the remote. This is again something that we wanted to have for a long time. Let's find out how it is implemented. First of all, the app now recognizes the remote and it can also connect to it, which is great. There's a new input block that can be used to utilize the buttons as an input for the different actions. So, how easy it is to control a motor, like forward, backward, stop? Can you simply add the block that controls motor speed, add the input block to the speed value and use it? Well, unfortunately not. The numeric output of the remote input block is not what you would expect for the first sight. It has codes for the different buttons, for example 1 for forward, -1 for backward, 127 for the red stop button. This means to use it you need to create a proper code that controls the motor speed and the direction you would like to achieve. The environment helps you in a way since you don't have to use the numeric values in the logical conditions. You can use the symbols of the buttons instead, but again it requires longer coding to achieve something as simple as a motor control with the remote. Since the remote offers bang-bang controls, so only full forward, backward and stop is available, this is a simple code that pretty much replicates what you could do with the power function remote. I will explore further possibilities later, like train speed control and other stuff, and share the code samples as usual. So, what do you think about this update? I was again very excited to see the announcement, but as it turned out, the update is really not what I was waiting for. Honestly, I have to say at this point that the developers of the Powered Up app are heading in a very wrong direction. These new features are cool, but they are useful only for a handful of experts who are totally into LEGO coding. Don't get me wrong, I still like the app and all the possibilities, but it really feels like a tech demo for LEGO nerds and not something meant to be used by most of the kids. This is not what LEGO is about. LEGO should be easy and intuitive to use. I think the Powered Up app and the whole system is totally schizophrenic at this point. On one side we have the closed set-related control profiles, where you have no any possibilities for customization, and you have the same thing in the Control Plus app for the Technic models. On the other side, there's the super complicated free-play coding area of the app without any simple solutions and obviously without any documentation that makes it impossible to use for 99% of us. And unfortunately, there's still nothing in between these two solutions, no options to simply plug in a motor or two and control it with a remote or a virtual slider or joystick without any coding, and I'm pretty sure that's what most of the kids would prefer to see. So if I can send a message to the LEGO developers, instead of the tech demos, please make something simple and customizable for the masses. There are already third-party apps out there trying to fill the void. Have a look at them and create a simple system that can be used without coding. I'm also interested in your opinion. Let me know what you think about the update and the status of the whole app. Is it really good this way? Do you like this direction and I'm simply overreacting the situation? Or you also think that the whole system is supposed to be much more simple? Please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe and tap the notification bell if you want to see more Technic reviews and other LEGO RC videos. See you next time. Bye bye.